Let's go over some holiday gift ideas for that photographer in your life. So these items are going to be smaller items and on the cheaper side that won't break the bank and will be something that the photographer in your life could use. And they're going to be small enough where if they have stockings, you should be able to stick them in there. And all these items I'll have linked below in the description. The links actually are affiliate links, so I just want to disclose that. So anytime you use those links to buy something, I will get a small commission for it, and all that money will be used to help the channel and help produce more content in the next few months. So the first thing we're going to go over is something that if you're a photographer or a starting photographer, you probably already have one or two, probably when you bought the camera especially, but it's something that you're going to need more of, especially in the long run. And I found out the hard way that you definitely need to get more of these. And they're actually memory cards. You see them everywhere. Every store carries them. You can get them online. You can get them in 2-packs, 3-packs, different gigabytes. You can get 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, and I think 256 and higher now. And every year, every other year, it seems to be going up more. The ones that I mainly use are the small SD cards. I use these mostly for my GoPro or a tablet that, has the slot for it, and some phones. The SD card, that's what my main memory card is. It's got all my cameras use them, so most cameras nowadays will probably have an SD slot. So those are always useful to have more than one of, especially if you're traveling. You don't want to lose them card or have it go bad and not have a backup. And sometimes having more is better because then you can buy more or take more pictures, just put them aside, use another card completely instead of deleting it, reusing it, deleting it, reusing it, until you get home and make sure that your pictures are totally safe. That's what I did on my road trip. I backed them up to my laptop and hard drives, but I left them on the memory cards just in case one of those go bad. And the other card that I use is a compact flash card. The only camera I have that uses this right now is my Nikon D800, and really it's just used as a backup in the camera. So it's got SD and CF, so it just mirrors them. So in case something goes wrong, I still have all those pictures I took. Another thing for the camera that you're always going to need is extra batteries. So I got just a few extra batteries here that I typically use. These ones are for my Nikon D800, and these ones are for my Sony A7R. So if you decide you're going to buy extra batteries for your photographer, make sure that you get the right batteries. You don't want to accidentally buy ones that don't fit in the camera and or for the wrong type of camera. So when you go to get them, get a hold of the batteries if you can, if you know where their gear is, and look and see what the number is, because you can see the size difference in these two. They obviously don't work in the same one. So either get their gear, take the battery out and take a look at it, or if you can find out what kind of camera they have, then all you have to do is sit there, look it up online, and then you'll find the specs for it and you'll be able to get the batteries, no problem. Another thing a photographer always needs is something to clean their lenses. This is a lens cleaning cloth. It's just a microfiber cloth. This one's just a white one. I've had a black one too. And it's typically good for cleaning everything on the camera lenses, front and back. And it usually gets the job done pretty well. Gets any like water spray on it that might get on there, or fingerprints especially. I always get fingerprints on mine. So these get them off pretty quickly and easily. Another one that I typically use for those harder to get off ones is the Zeiss lens cleaning wipes. They're damp cloths like you would find in any electronics department, really. You clean TV screens or your tablet screens or your phone screens. These ones are actually lens cleaning wipes. So you can actually find these in most electronic departments in any store. And just a tip, if you're using these, don't use them to clean your glasses, because then you get the oils from your glasses on here and it just makes the lenses much worse. If you need to use something, you can use these. I typically use these to clean my glasses if they get messed up out in the field. I'll use these and not a lens cloth. If you do use a lens cloth, that's all it can be used for. Don't ruin or make the lens worse off than it already is at that point. Another thing that's a little bit bigger, but is very useful, especially if you're taking pictures inside or at night, is a flash. I know all cameras do have a flash, usually one of those ones that pop up, but the problem with those is it's a direct beam of light at the person or object, and it tends to blow out their faces, make it very bright. With a flash like this, you'll hear it click. You can see I can adjust the head to different heights, and it can also turn to the sides. So that way, if I'm taking a picture inside, I don't want to blow out your face while I'm taking pictures, so I can bounce it off the ceilings or the walls or whatever. This one also has a bounce card that comes inside with it too. So this is nice. It's actually cheap. This one here is a brand called Neewer, Neewer, and I'll have a link to this one and the one that I'm showing the picture of in the links below. And these typically don't run too expensive. If you bought the brands for the cameras like a Nikon or Canon one, the speedlights can cost a few $100s. I don't use a flash as much, so I don't see any use of buying a $300-400 flash when I can get one for 20, 30, 40 bucks, even 50 bucks, and it does almost the same thing. Now the bigger ones do some other stuff, but I mean, this one can also be used because of the sensor in the front as a slave, and you can have it sitting in the corner, and then when it sees a flash go off, it'll pop off too. So a nice little cheap flash to keep in your bag, like I do, it's not a bad thing, especially if you're going to be shooting some pictures inside the house, maybe on the holiday this year. You're going to a family dinner, bring your speedlight along, get some nice shots, and don't blow anyone's face out. The next item to look at would be a camera strap. Now, most cameras do come with straps that go around the neck and attach the camera, and I'm sure you've gone to places and seen where after a few hours people are slouched over. I experienced that before I upgraded my strap, because the lenses and the cameras are so heavy, it just pulls on your neck all day long, and the longer you're out doing stuff, the worse that's going to get. So the strap that I bought is called a Black Rapid strap, and it actually goes over the top like so, and this way all the pressure is put on your shoulder and the camera hangs down by your hip, and it's attached to this cord here, and it's easy to bring up and down. It takes that stress right off of your neck, especially like me being out shooting wildlife. I have my D800 and a 300mm lens, and that's a heavy lens and camera, so having it strapped around your neck, one, isn't good for the lens because now it's pulling on the front of the camera, but since the 300 has a tripod foot, it attaches to the bottom of the strap and it hangs very nicely. And if I put a small lens on, I can actually just attach to the bottom of the camera like it would a tripod. Now this one here, as you can see, it's red, and most Black Rapids are black. This is a special one. I bought this off of FronosPhoto.com. So this is a special one Jared Pullen had made for his brand. So if you want a red version of the strap, you're going to have to go to his website to buy it. Otherwise, you can go to the Amazon link below, and it'll have a list of all the different Black Rapid straps on there. And in fact, when I was looking at it earlier, they do have one that's a harness. that goes around, and you can actually have two cameras, one on each side. I've seen it at the Philadelphia Flower Show last year, or this year. I don't think I'd want to carry two cameras around. I don't have a use for that. But if you want a long lens and a short lens, that's the perfect way to do it. It is a little more pricey, but I guess if you needed it, it's a cool way to do it. The next couple things we're going to go over are for actually video. A lot of photographers are starting to get into video, and the first thing you really need is good audio for your videos. Now, this one that I'm recording, you can see I'm using a microphone right here, and this is a Rode Podcaster USB microphone. When I'm out in the field, obviously I can't bring this along, so the one that I bring along is this Rode shotgun mic. This is the Video Mic Go, I think. Let me look here. Yep, Video Mic Go. It's a nice little mic. It doesn't take batteries, so you don't have to worry about having dead batteries or forgetting to turn it on. There is a pro version of this that does have that. So I didn't want it to deal with the battery things, and I didn't want to spend the extra money for it. So I bought this, and it does the job quite well. And the top here does come off, so you can put a dead cat on there to cut back on the wind noise, which is also great. And I haven't gotten that yet, but I will be. And there are others like a Video Mic Compact that they just came out with, which is a small version like this, which is also very good. And you can also pick them up a lavalier mic. You've seen them before where they clip onto the shirts or the jackets that go to the camera. And those could be relatively cheap. You don't want to go too cheap and get a really crappy version, because the sound will just sound bad regardless. So if you're you need a mic, get them something decent, because the one that's in the camera, it's good to start out with, but it's not good for the long run. So picking something up that's not expensive and upgrading your sound is definitely the way to go. And the next thing for video is a light panel. Now this one here is an LED panel. It's got, I think, 160 LEDs in there, so it's probably going to be pretty bright. I don't have that one. I have a different type of light, which I'm sure you can see reflecting my glasses, and it's very bright even on its lowest setting. But lighting will definitely help the video quality, because if I turn that light off, I'll look red. The room will be dark. I mean, I have two lights in the room now on, but it's not near enough to make a good video quality. So the light I have on there is actually on top of the camera on the hot shoe, and it's right in my face, and it's making the video look much better. So giving them something cheap light panel to get started, at least, definitely something that's worth looking into. And again, probably small enough to fit in a stocking. The light panel itself might be just a little bit bigger. It's hard to tell from the picture, but you might be able to squeeze in the stocking, especially if you've got a big stocking to stuff. Okay, so now we're getting into a few things that are a little bit bigger. One is camera bag. Most photographers probably already have a bag, so you probably don't have to worry about that. But if it's somebody who's starting out, maybe they just got a new camera for Black Friday, or you're buying them a camera for Christmas, and this is their first camera, you're definitely going to want to get them some kind of bag, something to carry it in. You don't want them just to have it around their neck all the time, because it could just swing into something and smash, and then you got to replace the lens or the camera. So something for them to at least store it in at home, so it doesn't get dusty and dirty. The two bags that I have to show is a backpack and a shoulder bag. The backpack is an Amazon Basic bag. I actually do know another photographer that does have it, and they like it. It's not huge, but it's good enough for them at the moment. And I do know another YouTube photographer that I watch. She uses it, and she's quite happy with it. It's all in personal preference. At least it'll be something to hold it in, at least to start out with. The shoulder bag I'm showing is a vintage canvas leather looking bag. It actually looks pretty nice, and for if I have a small camera, I might actually pick it up myself. And it will still be something that they can carry a camera around in, especially if they're going to be out in, let's say, a city so they can have it around the shore. They can have the camera in there so it's safe and not hanging out for people just to grab and run. And it has extra stuff, pockets and stuff, so you can stick other things in there, so everything's in one place, so they, won't have to have everything all over the place and lose something. So you might want to look into a bag to pick up. And even if you just decide to get them a cheap bag, like a cheap Nikon or Canon, those little vinyl bags that they sell at some of the retail stores, at least it's something to keep the gear in, so it's not out in the open, has a chance to fall off a shelf or fall off a table. It's protected, and the investment will last a lot longer, and they'll be able to use the camera whenever they want. Alright, so now we're on to the really bigger things. This one actually is not that much bigger and could be used in a stocking if you wanted to. It's a small tripod. This is a Gorilla Pod from Joby. And I love this little tripod. I have this in my shoulder bag all the time for my smaller cameras. But what's nice about it, I can attach my GoPro on here, or a small camera, and actually have it grab onto something, like a pole or a tree or something, and it'll keep it nice and stable and steady. You don't have to worry about it. And it's also flexible. If you want to shoot a selfie with a bigger camera, you can hold it out. And there's different ones, different sizes that hold different weights, so you got to make sure that you're going to get one that's going to be able to hold your camera. Otherwise it'll start to fall while it's on the table or on the floor or something like that. So you're going to want to double check it on that. Another tripod I have is a small one until you open it up. This is a travel tripod. This is a MePhoto brand. There's a different brand I'm linking in the video because it's a little cheaper. This is a little more expensive, but it's the same, almost the same style, the same type as that one. But it's nice because they can fold up, so if you're traveling, you can go around with a smaller tripod instead of one like you buy at the store that's permanently, fixed to a certain height. So this one can actually go up pretty high. I don't have to actually bend down too much to take a picture. And it does have one leg, like in the one I'm going to link in the video, that does detach and become a monopod if you want. So it is a nice little tripod, and they're not too expensive. I mean, there's a lot more expensive ones out there, so you'd have to look, but the tripod is definitely something for a photographer, especially if they're going to do landscape and maybe some portrait stuff, especially if they're going to set up like family portraits or something like that. Then you have a nice stable platform for it. Or if they want to take a family photo at Christmas with everybody and be in it, they can set this up, put a timer on, run into the shot, and everybody's in there. So tripod's always something nice to have. Alright, the next thing, it's actually two items, but they're basically meant for lighting in a studio or in a room or something like that. So I don't have any myself, but these are the ones I've been looking at to get, and if I do, it'll definitely make it so I don't have to have this little light on my camera anymore, and I can make the whole room bright so these videos look even better. But they're portrait studio kits. The first one I'm showing here, it's got two lights that have umbrellas. So I think it's three lights altogether by what the picture shows, and two umbrellas to make a nice soft glow from the lights. And that is probably the one I would consider getting for the size room I have at the moment. And they don't look like they're going to take up too much room. And I probably only need one of them, honestly. But the price is not too bad, and it comes in a nice bag and everything too. The next one I'm showing, this one is a little bit more detailed. This one actually has backgrounds to it, which is great, especially the green one if you want to do a green screen effect. Like I do gaming, so having that behind me with my webcam, I can make the whole background of the room disappear, or I can put something cool up in the background behind me. Making these videos, I can have things going on behind me while you're watching, which could be distracting, but it could be awesome too. This one also comes with 2 lights with the umbrellas, but it also comes with 2 soft boxes, which would actually be better, I think, for me in here instead of the umbrellas. But yeah, this is the kit that I personally am looking at to get, and hopefully have a small video studio set up somewhere in the house to have as a constant place to just shoot videos, have everything set up, and just go. So those are my recommendations and ideas for you to buy the photographer in your life. And there's a ton more out there to see and to look at. Just remember that if this photographer has been doing it a while, he or she probably has a lot of stuff already. So trying to avoid getting something that they already have can be very difficult. I know it sucks to ask them what they need or want, but sometimes you just have to. But these are little things that if you bought them, I don't think that they would be totally upset about. Maybe the lighting thing they won't need. Maybe they already have a bunch of flashes, but cleaning costs, memory cards, and things like that, they always need them. I need them. So I'm sure anybody that is a photographer would not mind getting a few of those for Christmas. If you have any ideas of other things that people could pick up and buy their photographer, drop them in the comments below, and let's see if we can get a nice good old Christmas list going. And not just for Christmas, I mean, this could be birthdays and everything, so the bigger the list the better. Maybe if we get a lot of comments with different things, we could make a big site on my website. We could put a link to it, and you can go, and then we have a list of everything that we talked about and in the comments, and it would be a nice list for everyone to look through and be able to pick something for their photographer. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.